Make sure that you are having continuous enthusiastic consent in any physical relationship you're in, especially if you are asexual, you think your partner might be, because you still want to have sex and you want to have a relationship, but things just happen in a different way, or they come differently.
Hello, I'm Liran, Notik, and today this is my pride story. I'm right here with India.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm so excited to have you here, and not just because of your glorious look, but also because you have a very important message for us all. So you kids must listen today. Lesson 1. Yeah. Now, before we even start to know more about yourself, just the dry details. How old are you? Where are you from? What do you do in life? You know, the regular parts of any first date.
Yeah, well, I'm India, or Indy. I'm 25 years old. I live in Brighton, and I've lived in Brighton for most of my life. I did a brief stint living in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
And I am a writer.
Which is amazing for itself, so we can have another talk show about your profession. But now, before we even go to the deep stuff, so how do you identify yourself, both gender-wise as well as sexual orientation?
Yeah, so I've always been quite firmly in the bi-romantic camp, so I'm interested in anyone, really. And I have struggled with gender, both in terms of generally being a very critical person and therefore wanting to explore past the binary and society, but also personally and for myself. And about 5-6 years ago, I came out as asexual, which there is this big link between asexual people and people who don't identify as the gender binary. It's actually very common. So I think that at the exact same time as I started to come to terms with the idea of being an asexual person, I also started to think about my gender in a different way. So I commonly use she, they pronouns.
Yes.
So I do outwardly often appear quite she, her, female looking, but also identify with this more they, not on the binary gender identity as well.
I would say you don't really like the labels, right? It's I can see you are a little bit struggling to explain to me, because I'm the simple person who try to understand and obviously trying to be nice. But if we try to kind of modify the whole identity of yourself, can we say gender fluid, or can we say that we don't have to say?
Yeah, I definitely would say that was I guess that's more my way of seeing things.
Yes.
That gender and sexuality are both very fluid, and I would say I was, gender fluid, and also maybe sexuality fluid as well. I just think if labels help someone to understand their reality,
to approach, to handle life in general, especially if you just cross someone in the street or small talk. You had struggles, obviously, but for me, when I hear asexual person, I hear the community being judging. This is what I know. I myself still struggle with not judge people who might be asexual, because I was born in boxes, I was born in labels. It's hard for my mind to always understand everybody else. But if we try to be nice and to educate others, so what will be your message for people who try to avoid the judgment part and start to know the underlayer of asexual?
I think it's really challenging, because as a community, like as a queer community, what we've been having is a sexual revolution. We've been fighting against being told that we can't have relationships with people.
Or specific sex acts.
And sex is a massive part of that. And also we've been fighting for inclusive sex education. Sex is at the center and forefront of all of these movements. And we live in a very sex-obsessed society, that's just true.
Yes.
And so when you have someone who's saying they want to be included, but they don't want to have that part of it, or they don't identify as someone who is going out there to have sex. I mean, lots of asexuals have sex, but that drive is different. It does feel like you can be excluded or left behind. And it's difficult because on the one hand, you really want to support that sexual revolution.
Yes.
It's so important to come behind people.
And you do understand that revolution.
Yeah, we understand it. And we want to be a part of it. Yeah. And so I think just understanding that there is a whole group of people who they want to have the revolution, but they don't necessarily want to have the sex part, if that makes sense. You want to be able to be in a relationship, be who you are, be free, identify as who you are without that added element.
I know there's lots of people who might be in struggle and sitting and watch us right now and might feel as you feel, and they can realize, I'm not alone. So what will be a message for those who want to be under the umbrella of asexual? Yeah,
I think it's important for everyone, whether you identify as asexual or not, to understand that the way that you want to have sex, how much you want to have sex, anything to do with sex, it's very personal and very valid. That if you do or if you don't, or if some partners you do and some partners you don't, all of those things are equally as valid. For the baby asexuals out there, I would say there's so many good resources that you can look at and read about and try and understand whether this is something you want to identify with. But generally, the most important thing is to really make sure that you are having continuous enthusiastic consent in any physical relationship you're in, especially if you are asexual, you think your partner might be, because you still want to have sex and you want to have a relationship, but things just happen in a different way, they come differently. And to be having this continuous enthusiastic consent is so important. Look online, there's amazing resources online, and don't worry about it. You might feel like you're being excluded from something, like you're missing out on the party, like you're not there, there's something wrong with me because I don't want to have sex, and everyone says sex is the greatest thing in the world. But there's nothing wrong with you. This is the world that we live in.
I would love to say to anybody who watch us right now that there is no wrong and right. Yeah. Especially if you already joined the family of the LGBTQ plus community, then you realize there's no wrong and right. You just need to be who you want to be. And for the last positive note, I would like to let everybody know that you already have amazing relationship, and that might be breaking some stigmas, because people have the first impression of asexual communities that they want to live alone. They don't want any relationships, and this is not true in your case. Yeah,
I've been married for 5 years to the same person. I've been with this person for 7 years. I know, and we have a great relationship. We really love each other, and I feel like going through this journey together and understanding what we're experiencing together has actually made our relationship way, way stronger.
Well, I just can thank you for being here today and expose yourself and share with others. And for you who watches back home on your computers or on your bus or whatever, if you have questions for India, obviously, you more than welcome to type in your answers. Just leave a comment below, like, share, send us private DM message if you'd like to have, advice, right?
Yes, for sure, please.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.